Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today both of my kids are sleeping and that never happens, so I figured I would film a video, and I was thinking about doing it on how I got pregnant when I was 17 because that's such a hot topic, and that was 5 years ago almost. No, I got pregnant more than 5 years ago because Caden's gonna be 5 in August. I act like I didn't know that, like I had to think about it, but I really didn't. I was just thinking about how close August is. Yeah, so my little baby is gonna be 5 here super soon, like 2 months. It's crazy. I feel old, but I'm not. But having a kid for 5 years sure does age you a little bit. So yeah, a lot of people are usually very surprised when I tell them my age. Like, I don't know if I should take that as a good thing or a bad thing. Like, do I look older than 23? But seriously, when I tell people, like, obviously we bought a house, so our neighbors like will obviously come up and introduce themselves and whatever, and every single time Phil and I are like, yeah, we're 23, you just like see them look down at our kids like, how old are your kids? And then we'll be like, oh, they're 5 and 1, 4 years apart, or almost 5 and just turned 1, and they're like sitting there, you can just like see them doing the math in their head like, oh. And I swear, people just immediately look at you differently when you tell them one, your age, and them seeing your kid being like, oh, you were pregnant when you were in high school. That's nice. Anyways, so when I was a senior in high school, obviously, yeah, senior in high school, I'm just like thinking back, I haven't thought about it in so long, but usually when Caden's birthday comes around I get a little bit emotional about it and stuff, because man, we've been on a journey since then. But yeah, when I was a senior in high school, it was after volleyball season, I remember, because obviously I was in volleyball. It was after volleyball season. It was like, I think I got pregnant in November, but obviously I didn't find out then. It was Christmas Eve when I was with my cousin at my grandma's house, and I was telling her how I was feeling, and she was just like, I think you need to take a pregnancy test. So she had one on hand. Sorry for putting you out there like that, but yeah, she had one on her. She's a year older than I am, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, we went up to grandma's bathroom upstairs. Let me remind you, my grandma, remind you like, you know, you don't know, my grandma is a very religious but amazing person. She supported me through everything, and I love her so much. I literally could not do this whole mom thing without her. I'm not kidding. Anyways, I get emotional about that because I love her so much. But we went up to my grandma's bathroom and I took the test, not thinking anything of it. I'm just talking my cousin's ear off, whatever. And then she's like, Michaela, shut up. I'm like, well, that's rude. Why? And she's like, it's positive. Oh my God. We both started bawling, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I call my dad, because my dad is a lot different than my mom, and like, I'm not afraid to tell him things like this because I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, I would say I'm closer with my mom, but yet my dad takes this kind of news better. I don't know, it's super confusing. But anyways, I called my dad and I was like, I just took a pregnancy test. I don't even think I said anything. I called him and I was bawling, and he's like, I seriously remember it like it was yesterday. He's like, you're effing pregnant, aren't you? And I'm like, oh my God. So we go with him. My parents are divorced, so we're with my mom Christmas Eve, and then Christmas morning we go to my dad's, and at that point we were driving, so we drove to my dad's side of the family's, and he was like, I'm gonna have a pregnancy test ready for you, we're gonna take them. So this is just like my life in a nutshell. But we go there the next morning, and my dad has all these pregnancy tests. I'm not kidding you, he bought like a lot. I think it was only like 3, but that's a lot for me. I was just like, hey, I already took one, whatever. He's like, well, we need to take more. We need to see if they're all positive and if it's just like a fault or whatever's going on. So I take another one, and I really wasn't gonna go like super in depth about the story, but now I'm just doing it, so I guess we're rolling with it. I didn't really plan on whatever. Anyway, so we take all of them. None of them work. They all come back and just like don't have any lines. Like, not even that first one. You know how it has to have 2 if it's positive. It doesn't even have that first line, like saying that it's working. So we go, my dad drives to Walgreens. Walgreens is open. I'm like, I'm not going in there. I'm so embarrassed. I'm 17 years old. Like, I'm not gonna go in there, whatever. My dad goes and storms in there, and he comes back out. I'm just like, oh my God, do I even want to know what happened? He's like, I freaked out at them. I'm like, none of these work. My 17-year-old daughter is taking these, and we need to know if she's pregnant. He was like freaking out. He's probably gonna hate me if he watches this video, but it's true. So anyways, they give him more for free because he freaked out, and we go back and we take them. They're all positive. So obviously I'm pregnant at this point. So we can't get an appointment on Christmas, but my dad calls and we could get an appointment. I believe it was the next morning. Yeah, I think like December 26th. We go to the doctor and we take a urine test and whatever else they make you do. I don't even remember. I mean, I remember with Harper what they did, but hers was a completely different story. I can tell that another one a different day, but I'm not gonna do both of them right now. So we go and I take the urine test and the blood sample, and then they come back with all this, like, these huge piles of books of like what to do when you're expecting and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, look at my dad, and we're like, okay, well, I have to be pregnant because why else would they come back with these books? So yeah, she's like, yeah, the urine test came back positive. We'll check your HTC, whatever, I don't know, the levels to make sure, and all this stuff, because there's different kind of pregnancies where like you can be pregnant but it's not like a real, I don't know, there's all these different things. So they just like wanted to make sure. But at this point, what we know is I'm pregnant, whether it's like a real pregnancy or not, which now we know obviously it was because he's here and old. But yeah, so basically I had a decision to make. I'm 17. What am I gonna do? It's crazy to think back to all of it, but I went and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was so deathly afraid to tell my mom, especially my grandparents, because I don't know, that's scary, you know, when you're young and you know that they're gonna be like not happy about it, clearly. So I don't even remember when I told my mom. It was a couple weeks later though, and I was afraid to do it, and I thought she was gonna freak out, but she didn't. She took it pretty well, actually. She cried a little bit, and I think she just like said, well, you have a decision to make, like, what do you want to do? So after that, I was like, I cannot be here around all these people in this small freaking town knowing this news and not knowing what to do. I don't remember who I think I told one of my best friends and my parents, and I was so young. I'm like, Mom, I'm not telling anybody in the family. Like, you have to tell them. I cannot face them. So my mom told everybody. I missed that. That's so nice when they did that, because they did not do that for Harper. I had to tell everyone, and I hate that because it was still like, I was still young. So it was kind of, that was scary too. Like, my heart's racing thinking about it. It's like a freaky thing, but yeah. What was I gonna say? I'm losing it all. Oh yeah, my mom told everyone on her side of the family, and I think only a couple people knew at this point. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So I called my grandparents who live in Florida most of the year. Well, my dad had already told them what was going on, obviously. And I called them and I was like, I need to leave. I need to think. I need to just be me and just me. So they booked me a trip to come to Florida, and I stay there. It was so cold. I remember that. I was like, I want to tan. I want to be outside. This is terrible. Like, it's 50 degrees in Florida. That never happens, but of course it did. And so I just sat there, me and myself and my grandparents, but mostly just me, in a chair for like 5 days outside, just like thinking about life and what I should do. And I want to just say, I am not for abortion. Just my personal choice. I like thought about it just because I was so young, just as like, obviously you have to think about all the factors, but I never once, like, I always knew that wasn't for me. So I just thought about it and I thought about it, and I was like, I can't not have, I always wanted to be a mom. Like, if you ask anybody when I was young, like, I've always wanted to be a teacher because I want to be a parent. And you have summers off and you get a lot of time with your kids, and like the schedules just clash, like, in a good way. They are good together. So basically I've always wanted to be a teacher just because I wanted to be a mom. So at this point I was like, I'm going to do this. We're gonna figure it out. And I'm like, holy crap, how am I gonna go to college. I honestly doubted myself. Like, I really did. But as soon as people in my school found out I was pregnant, they were all like, oh my God, she's gonna do nothing. Like, most people were like, oh, I'm not surprised, she's gonna do nothing with her life. They had all these disappointments in me, and that literally set set a fire inside of me that was like, you are gonna do something with your life, you're gonna make something of yourself, you're not just gonna be a statistic. Like, it's hard to be a mom. And if I did not have the support that I had, I would have been working 40 hours a week and not seeing my kid that much. I got a lot of time with him when he was young because I was going to school and I didn't really, long story. We'll get into that somewhere else. But anyways, I got into school and I obviously lived at home, and I had a wonderful boyfriend to support me through every single thing. And that made it a lot easier. I don't think I could have done it if I was on my own completely, like without the support of, it was my boyfriend at the time, obviously, now he's my husband. And my family letting me and my boyfriend and my child live in their basement so I could go to school and he could work and figure out what he wants to do, and we could raise this child. Because there was a lot of tough nights that I was like, I do not want to do. I took the first semester off after high school because I was due the day that school was going to start. So I like was enrolled in everything. Like, I got accepted obviously, but I was just like, I can't do it the first semester. Which is good because he was due the 23rd and I got induced the 30th. Obviously I had him the 30th. Here I am trying to figure that out. I get nervous. But so yeah, I had him the 30th, which was a week after school started, and I had a completely unplanned birth with him. It was not what it was supposed to be. So I ended up having him really late at night after 17 hours of labor and 3 hours of pushing. 3 of those hours were pushing, 3.5 actually. And then I ended up with a C-section. So I would have been in really rough shape going into class that next, 2 days later on a Monday. That would not have been realistic in the least. So I'm really glad that I took that semester off. But they do say taking a semester off and going back is like, most people don't do it. They don't do it. And I told myself that entire time, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I don't have a choice. I need to do it. So I pretty much took that time to just like be a mom. And then when the semester started in January, I started very slow with 2 classes. I mean, they were science classes, and let me tell you, that's not my best subject, so it's probably good I only did 2. And I took summer classes every single summer. I took at least 2 classes. I wouldn't have finished in exactly 4 years if I hadn't, because obviously I started with 2 classes. And yeah, then I ended up 6 credits short, not knowing it until my last semester when I was student teaching full time. So I had to take a couple extra classes on top of student teaching, which it's not for the weak, I can tell you that. But I could not imagine, and I had another child by then, hello. But yeah, it was not easy, but I could not do it without the support system that I have. I would have failed like everyone thought I would, but I just am so proud of myself and thankful for everything that I have for getting me through everything. I mean, being a parent is not the easiest thing I've done. It is the hardest thing I've done, especially now that I have 2, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'm so thankful for Caden. I would not be a very good person if it was not for him. My dad tells me all the time, I'm like, thanks Dad, but he tells me all the time, I cannot imagine the person you would have been if you did not have Caden. Caden saved your life. I'm just like, yeah, it's true. I can't really deny it. Gets me a little, Phil and I were talking about that last night. It gets me a little bit emotional, but yeah, I am so thankful for Caden. He, like, as soon as he came out in my life was like complete 180. Thinking about myself going to college, like in the dorms and continuing on the path I was on, just sickens me, honestly. I could not imagine. Caden saved me along with Phil. I have to give him credit for that too, because if I was a single mom with no boyfriend, I probably would have made terrible decisions. Honestly, I probably would have. I mean, both of them kept me sane and kept me on the right path and in the right mindset. And I can't thank them enough, honestly. I say that a lot in this video especially, but I feel like I don't tell them enough, and I forget like that my life could be so different right now. And a lot of people are like, oh my god, like your life is over, you're having a baby when you're 17. Well, I turned 18 right before I had him. Not right before, but a few months before. But people are like, your life is over, you're going to go nowhere, you're going to, I don't even know what they thought. I just remember there was a group of boys who were so mean to me. So mean to me. I still cry to this day of how mean, no I don't, but I don't cry about it. I'm more like laughing because most of them, like, I don't want to talk crap, but most of them are the ones who ended up dropping out of college and never finishing or getting a degree, and were saying how fat I was gonna get. And let me tell you, that jump started my fitness life, so thanks to you guys. But yeah, anyways, here I am 2 kids later, degree, married, house, in better shape than I've ever been in my whole life. Here I am bragging, but I seriously am so proud. And it's not me, it's not just me, it's my entire family, my husband, both of my kids. I mean, I have to have the willpower myself. Like, no one was doing my homework, no one was on top of me saying, do this homework, do this homework, do this homework. I finished with a 3.6 GPA, graduated with honors. I got straight A's my entire last 2 years of college. My first year was rough, but after that, I mean, they weren't bad grades, but they kept my GPA down so that when I got straight A's last 2 years, I didn't have a 4.0 obviously, but I'm proud of that, and I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, I kicked butt in school and proved everyone wrong. I'm proud of it, and I don't get to say it enough because I am very shy and quiet, and I'm not gonna rub it in people's faces. I'm not that kind of person, but I don't remember where I got off track, but I'm just very proud, and I would not be here. I would be here, but probably not making very smart decisions. So that's my story of my teen pregnancy. There's like a couple things I probably could have gone in more detail about and explained the whole like boyfriend situation, but that could be an entire different video. So if you guys want to see that, let me know, because I don't know if all of you who watch me or care about me know about my situation. Yeah, he's been there since pregnancy, so what can I say? That gets me emotional too, because I forget about it like 90% of the time. Like, you didn't have to do this, you chose to do this. And now we have 2 beautiful kids and a beautiful house and a beautiful life, and I love every second of it. Talking about when I got pregnant when I was 17, it's not what I would recommend for anybody or everybody. Really, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I do think that it turned out for the best for me. That doesn't mean it would turn out the best for you, and I do think things would have been easier, obviously, getting through school without kids, but it happened for me this way, and it wouldn't have been better any other way for me. But I don't agree with teen pregnancy or think that, that it's a good thing. I think that there's nothing wrong with waiting. Even if you are married when you're 16, that's wonderful, but it doesn't mean that you should have a kid right away. I mean, there are a lot of things that you should do before having kids, and Phil and I will never ever get to experience life without kids, like as a couple, until our kids are graduated and out of high school. Had kids basically as soon as we started dating, so there was no other life for us, and that's okay. I love our life. I'll say it a million times, I do. It's not easy, it's difficult, but seeing my friends who go out, we did lose a lot of friends, there's that too. I mean, they just like to party, and Phil and I are not like that. I mean, we much rather stay here and go to bed at 9 o'clock, or we'll let the kids go to bed at 9 o'clock on a weekend and watch a movie together and like talk about how far we've come and how proud we are of where we're at. And that's just the way we choose to do things. I mean, we're 23 and we never had like that 21 and crazy phase because we couldn't, and I think that's okay. That's okay with me. Oofta, I didn't think this video would be this long. I'm glad I made it though. It feels good to talk about it because, one, I don't give myself enough credit for everything that I've been through and Phil and I have been through, into this video went so off topic. That's okay. Anyways, I was 17 and I was pregnant, and now I'm 23 with 2 kids, an almost 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. And that's just my life. So, and I'm married. Hello. Can't forget Phil. I can try. Come here and say hello to my video. Here's my almost 5-year-old. Are you embarrassed of me? Here's my almost 5-year-old. He's so big. Okay, my camera told me apparently that was too long, so it just quit on me. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see.
This is a camera.
It's a camera case. It's like squirrel. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Say bye.
Bye.